The silence of space had always been cold, but tonight it felt alive, as if something huge was waiting just outside the darkness. On the edge of the Andromeda cluster, inside an old listening station made of black metal, an alien officer named Auric leaned over his console. He had listened to thousands of signals across his long life, messages from dying stars, strange whispers from old civilizations, and the quiet hum of cosmic storms. But tonight he heard something different, something he had never heard before, something that made his hands shake. The signal came from a small blue planet far away, a planet called Earth. At first the sound was weak, like a broken wave touching the shore, but as Auric increased the volume, the noise shaped into voices. Not one voice, but many, humans laughing, humans crying, humans arguing, humans singing. Emotions filled the room like a storm, raw and wild, and Auric stepped back as if something had jumped out of the speakers. No species in the galaxy ever sent such open messages into space. Civilizations always hid their fears, controlled their words, protected their secrets. But humans were shouting their feelings into the universe with no fear. Auric stared at the screen and whispered to himself, "They are not afraid of who might be listening." The broadcast played louder now. A child's laugh echoed through the speakers, soft and warm, followed by a deep human voice talking about hope and freedom. Then music began, strange and powerful, the kind that could stir the heart even of a species that did not have a heart like humans. Auric felt something inside him that he had not felt in years, a strange tension, like courage trying to grow inside his chest, and it scared him. He reached for the emergency alert switch, but his hand paused. For a moment he only listened. The human voice continued, talking about dreams, talking about fighting darkness, talking about standing strong even when the world was burning. Auric could not understand why such a young species had a voice so powerful. He felt like the broadcast was not just sound, but a force pushing into his mind, waking something sleeping inside. Finally he slammed the alert switch. Red lights flashed through the station, warning alarms echoed through every corridor. Guards rushed in, their armor glowing under the emergency lights. "What happened?" the commander demanded, his voice full of fear. Auric pointed at the screen, a new signal from the outer spiral arm, from a planet called Earth. The commander listened for only 3 seconds before stepping back, his eyes wide. This is dangerous," he whispered, "no species should speak like this." Auric nodded, because he felt the same. The broadcast was not about strength, not about weapons, not about war, but it carried something more frightening. Humans were showing their hearts to the galaxy, and only a confident species would do that. Maybe too confident. Word spread fast through nearby outposts. Scientists, soldiers, leaders, and traders all stopped their work to listen to the strange human broadcast. Some thought it was a trap, others thought it was madness, but one thing was clear to all of them. No one had ever heard a species speak like this. A ship orbiting near the listening station sent a message to the Galactic Council, warning them that a new species had revealed itself. A species that did not hide anything, a species that stood naked in the dark and shouted into the void, "We are here." Many aliens felt a deep fear they could not explain. Some believed humans were planning something. Others believed this emotional voice was a signal of a coming rise. A voice like this could unite or destroy entire civilizations. Meanwhile, back at the listening station, Auric kept watching the signal. He should have turned it off, but he could not. There was something addictive in the human sound, something warm and dangerous at the same time. He listened to stories of struggle, stories of hope, stories of people fighting for a future even when they were scared. To Auric, it felt like humanity was talking directly to the universe, not caring if the universe was ready. Then something inside the signal changed. The music faded slowly, replaced by a soft human whisper. The whisper said, "We don't know who is out there, but if you can hear us, we hope you are friends." Auric froze. The room suddenly felt too small, too quiet, too alive. The humans did not know anyone was listening, yet they spoke as if they believed someone would reply. The commander looked at Auric with fear. "They are too bold," he said. "No species speaks to the universe like this unless they believe they cannot be stopped." Auric swallowed hard. He looked at the blue planet shining softly on the holographic map. A small world, weak and young, sending its voice across the stars without fear. He whispered, "Maybe the universe should fear them." Behind him, the broadcast kept playing, filling the station with human courage, human pain, human laughter, and human dreams. And somewhere deep inside the galaxy, millions of alien ears were listening. Listening with fear, curiosity, confusion, and a strange respect. And none of them knew that this was only the beginning. The human broadcast did not stop. It kept moving through space like a silent wave, touching one alien system after another. In Sector 9, a giant research ship called the Veilbreaker received the signal just as its crew prepared to enter stasis sleep. The ship's sensors lit up with a loud beep, and the crew woke instantly, confused and irritated. But when the broadcast played through the ship, every alien froze. The sound of a human heartbeat echoed first, slow and steady. Then a human voice whispered, "If you can hear this, we are not alone." The crew felt a chill, and one scientist whispered, "Why do they speak like they know we exist?" Another replied, "Because they are either very brave, or very dangerous." The broadcast shifted again. Now it was human music, fast, wild, emotional, filled with something alien species could not describe. To them it felt like a storm, a fire, a rising sun all at once. One crew member placed a hand on his chest, shocked to feel his heart pounding faster. "This music, it changes us," he said softly. He tried to shut it off, but the button refused, as if the signal itself resisted. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council chamber, leaders of 50 powerful species gathered around a massive hologram. The hologram showed Earth glowing like a small blue spark in the dark ocean of space. "It is a young world," one council member said, "but the voice we hear is not young." Another replied, "This species, they speak with so much emotion that it enters our minds." The council played the broadcast again, and the chamber fell silent. Human voices, human dreams, human pain, all echoing through the air. Some council members felt inspired. Others felt sick with fear. One whispered, "If this is only their voice, imagine their weapons." Another answered, "Imagine their unity." A debate exploded through the chamber. Should they hide from humanity? Should they observe quietly? Should they prepare for war? No one could decide. The human voice was too strange, too bold, too free. Back near Earth, hidden behind the orbit of Neptune, a secret alien scout ship analyzed the signal closer than anyone. The ship's commander, Vorin, listened again and again. He noticed something the others did not. The human voices did not speak with perfect order. They did not follow a strict pattern. They crossed over each other, interrupted each other, mixed with music and noise. But somehow, it felt alive. Vorin whispered, "These humans, they sound chaotic, but their chaos has meaning." His assistant nodded slowly. "It feels like they live with fire inside." Vorin's eyes widened. No other species has this burning spirit, this uncontrollable energy. Suddenly, a part of the broadcast changed. A human voice shouted, angry and emotional, talking about fighting for freedom. The sound hit the alien crew like a shockwave. One soldier dropped to his knees, clutching his head. "I feel their anger," he whispered, voice shaking, "but it does not destroy me, it pushes me." The alien crew looked at each other with fear. What kind of species could send emotions so strong they could be felt physically? What kind of species could share courage like it was a virus? Across the galaxy, thousands of ships reported the same experience. Some aliens felt stronger after hearing the human voice. Some felt unstable. Some felt brave for the first time in years. But all of them felt changed, even if they did not want to admit it. The council received new reports every minute. One report said, human broadcast caused temporary unity among enemy tribes. Another said, signal increased emotional activity in listeners by 14%. Another said simply, this species is dangerous. But the strangest report came from a lonely moon in the Valtor system. A small alien colony claimed they saw visions while listening to the broadcast. Visions of humans climbing mountains, exploring oceans, building cities. Visions of a species that refused to surrender to darkness. Visions of a future where humans walked across the stars without fear. The council members grew silent when they heard this. Finally, the eldest among them spoke. Humans are not warning us, he said slowly, they are calling out to the universe, inviting it. A deep tension spread through the chamber. Why would they invite strangers? Why would they reveal their emotions? Why would they expose their weakness? But Vorin, still listening from the shadows of Neptune, understood something the others did not. He whispered to his crew, humans do not see emotion as weakness. They use it as a weapon. At that exact moment, on Earth, a new part of the broadcast began. Human voices chanting together, shouting with hope and fire. The signal spread even faster, reaching deeper into space than any before. Aliens across the galaxy froze as the message reached them. A message so simple, yet so terrifying. A message that carried no fear at all. We are coming, the humans said in their loud, fierce voice. And we are not alone anymore. The universe held its breath. Because the universe finally understood something important. Humans were not just speaking. They were awakening. And the stars themselves felt the tremble. The human broadcast kept moving through space like a living creature. It touched one star system after another, leaving confusion and fear behind. But now something new was happening, something no alien expected. Humans, without knowing it, were starting to notice strange things too. On Earth, in a quiet research center on a mountain, a young scientist named Dr. Lena Hart frowned at her screen. Her telescope had detected a strange shadow moving behind Neptune. It was too fast for a rock, too slow for a comet, and too controlled for nature. She zoomed in, expecting a glitch, but the shadow moved again. And this time it moved against gravity. Lena whispered, "What are you?" No answer came, only the silent shape slipping deeper into the dark. She recorded the data and called her team, her voice shaking. "We have something out there with us," she said, "and it's watching." Unknown to Lena, the alien ship she saw went into panic. The commander, Vorin, stared at the human telescope scan on his screen. "How did they see us?" he whispered, "this ship is hidden by 3 layers of cloaking." A scientist replied in fear, "It should be impossible, unless humans have technology we do not understand." Vorin felt a chill. Humans were not supposed to detect anything beyond Jupiter. Yet somehow, they saw him. Inside his ship, the human broadcast kept playing. A human voice spoke about searching for the unknown, exploring the dark, reaching farther. Every word felt like it was aimed directly at Vorin. He felt as if humans knew he was hiding, and were calling him out. He turned off the speakers, but the echo of the voice stayed in his mind. He whispered, "These humans, they do not fear the void." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council received a new report. The report said, humans detected unknown vessel at the edge of their system. The council chamber filled with shocked murmurs. They should not have this ability. They are advancing too fast. What if they have been hiding their true power? Some council members suggested immediate retreat. Others suggested immediate attack. But none could decide. Humanity's voice kept echoing through the chamber. We reach for the stars not because they are easy, but because we cannot stop. The line hit every listener like a strike of lightning. One council member stood and said, "A species that says this cannot be controlled." Another replied, "A species that says this might save the galaxy, or burn it." Back on Earth, Lena's team kept studying the moving shadow. Some believed it was a glitch. Others believed it was a ship. Lena believed something far stranger. She whispered, "Whoever they are, they heard our broadcast." The more she listened to the human signal recordings, the more she wondered. Were humans truly alone until now? Or had the universe always been listening silently? Her heart pounded as she replayed the broadcast. Human laughter, human anger, human hope, all floating into the dark. She whispered, "If someone out there heard this, what do they think of us?" At the same moment, millions of light years away, in a dark nebula filled with shadow clouds, the alien species known as the Karen assembled. They were strong, ancient, and feared by many. They lived in silence, and hated emotions. But now their entire hive was shaking. The human broadcast had reached them too. And their hive mind could not block the emotions inside it. They heard human rage and felt their bones tremble. They heard human hope and felt their minds burn. They heard human dreams and felt something strange for the first time. Something they hated. Something called inspiration. Their leader roared, "This human voice must be stopped." The hive screamed as one. They began preparing ships, weapons, and dark energy bombs. Humans did not know the danger coming for them. But the galaxy felt the shift. A war was forming in the shadows. Meanwhile, the alien ship hiding behind Neptune made a dangerous decision. Vorin knew that humans were too close to discovering them. He whispered to his crew, "We will move deeper into the system." The crew panicked. "But Commander, if they detect us again?" Vorin interrupted. "They already detected us once. If we run now, they will know we fear them." So the ship moved. It glided silently past Neptune's orbit, leaving a faint disturbance in the cosmic dust. Lena's sensors picked it up instantly. Her eyes widened. "It's getting closer," she whispered, "it's coming toward us." She sent the report to global agencies. Satellites turned toward the shadow. Radars locked on. The world began to wake up to a truth they were not ready for. Something was out there. Something was moving toward Earth. Something that had heard humanity's voice. Something that now wanted to see the species brave enough to shout into the void. And in the alien ship, Vorin stared at the blue planet glowing softly ahead of him. His heart felt heavy. He whispered to himself. "We came to study them. But now I fear we will leave changed." The human broadcast continued playing through space. And the universe had no choice but to listen. Because for the first time in history, humans had spoken loudly enough for everyone to hear. And nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. The alien ship drifted deeper into the solar system, moving like a silent shadow between Neptune and Mars. Inside the ship, Vorin felt pressure tightening in his chest, a strange emotion he did not want to name. Fear. He had seen war, he had seen death, he had seen planets burn to dust. But this feeling, this weight, came from the human voice still echoing in his mind. A voice that refused to fade. He had turned off the broadcast, but the words stayed inside him. "We do not stop. We do not break. We rise again." Every time he remembered those sentences, something stirred in his heart, something dangerous, something human. His ship's crew tried to remain calm, but they felt the same tension spreading among them like a slow fire. The scientist whispered, "Commander, the human broadcast is affecting our minds." Vorin replied softly, "It is doing more than that, it is changing us." Meanwhile, on Earth, panic was rising quietly behind closed doors. Governments held secret meetings, scientists whispered in labs, astronomers stared at screens with wide eyes. The strange object behind Neptune had moved again. And now its trajectory showed something terrifying. It was moving toward Earth, not drifting, not wandering, but approaching with purpose. Lena Hart stood in front of a giant screen with shaking hands. "We need to warn the world," she said, voice trembling. Her director shook his head. "Not yet, we do not know what it is." Lena whispered, "I know exactly what it is." She pointed at the radar image. "That is not nature. That is intelligence. And intelligence only moves like this if it is watching." Across the galaxy, more alien civilizations were falling into chaos. Some species began building shields around their planets. Some evacuated their colonies. Some prayed to their ancient gods. All of them feared the same thing. The human voice had awakened something deep inside them, something they did not know how to control. The Karen fleet, the most feared army in the galaxy, had launched from their dark nebula. Thousands of ships left trails of black fire behind them. Their leader growled, "We will reach Earth first. We will silence this dangerous voice before it spreads further." Their ships moved like a storm heading toward a small blue spark. A spark that did not understand how bright it was becoming. But something strange happened during the journey. Some of the Karen soldiers started hearing echoes of the human broadcast inside their minds. They felt hope, they felt bravery, they felt memories that did not belong to them. They grew unstable, confused, and angry. The leader roared at them, "Block the signal. Fight it." But the human voice was not a signal anymore. It had become a feeling. A wildfire inside the mind. And feelings could not be blocked. Back in the council chamber, the tension reached breaking point. New reports came in from every direction. Human broadcast caused conflict between two allied species. Human broadcast inspired rebellion on a mining moon. Human broadcast increased courage levels among young warriors. One council member slammed the table. "This is not communication. This is invasion." Another member shook their head. "No, this is influence." But influence was even more dangerous. Weapons could be stopped. Fleets could be destroyed. But ideas could spread forever. The council realized something chilling. Humans did not know they were influencing anyone. They were simply speaking. But their voice carried emotion so powerful that entire civilizations felt it. The universe had never faced anything like this. Meanwhile, Voron's ship reached a position behind the moon, hiding in its shadow. Earth glowed below them, quiet and unaware. The crew stared at the blue planet in silence. It was beautiful, tiny, fragile, and yet, it terrified them more than any war machine. Voron whispered, "They look weak. But they sound invincible." He felt his heart shaking again. He hated it. He feared it. He respected it. Suddenly, an alarm began to beep loudly on the ship. A new signal had entered the system. A huge signal, dark and heavy. The Karen fleet. They had arrived early, pushing their engines beyond safe limits. Their ships appeared like a swarm of shadows at the edge of the solar system. The crew gasped. Voron's eyes widened. "They intend to attack Earth," he whispered, "they intend to silence humanity before they speak again." But something strange happened. The human broadcast started playing by itself in the alien ship. No one touched the console. The system did not activate it. It simply began, as if the broadcast had chosen its moment. A human voice spoke softly. "To the unknown, we do not fear you. To the darkness, we rise again. To the stars, we are coming." Every alien in Voron's ship froze. The words felt like they came alive inside their minds. Outside, the Karen fleet slowed for a moment. Even they felt a tiny spark inside their hive. A spark that did not belong to them. Voron whispered. "This is not a signal. This is a calling." Earth still did not know a war was moving toward it. Earth still did not know millions of eyes were watching. Earth still did not know its voice had changed the universe. But the universe knew one thing clearly now. Humanity was not just heard. Humanity was felt. And the galaxies trembled because of it. The Karen fleet moved closer to the solar system, their giant ships glowing with black energy. They were ready to destroy Earth with one order. Ready to silence the human voice that had shaken their hive. But something unexpected happened the moment they crossed Saturn's orbit. Every ship in the fleet went silent for 1 full second. Every engine, every weapon, every screen. All silence. And in that single second, something entered their minds. A voice, not alien, not mechanical, not artificial. A human whisper. You cannot stop a voice that has already reached your heart. The fleet panicked. Their soldiers screamed. Their leader roared. Block the human signal. But the whisper was not coming from their radios. It was coming from inside them. Inside their memories, inside their emotions. The human broadcast had grown beyond technology. It had become a feeling carried by the mind itself. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Lena Hart stood alone on the mountain platform, watching the sky through her telescope. She didn't know about the incoming fleet. She didn't know about Voron's ship hiding behind the moon. She didn't know that billions of alien eyes were staring at Earth at that very moment. But she felt something. A strange pressure in the air. A hum, a vibration, like the world was holding its breath. She whispered, "Something is coming." Her radio crackled suddenly, faint and strange. For a moment, it sounded like a voice speaking in a language she didn't understand. Then it shifted, English, soft and distant. "You are not alone," the voice said. Lena's heart stopped for a second. She turned around, but no one was there. The voice had not come from her radio. It had come from the broadcast device behind her. The device that was not supposed to be transmitting. She whispered, "Someone is listening." She looked at the stars. And someone is answering. At the same moment, inside the alien ship behind the moon, Voron stared at new readings on his screen. His ship detected an energy wave rising from Earth. A wave that wasn't technological. A wave that wasn't natural. It was something else. Something he could not explain. Something alive. He whispered, "This is impossible." The scientist beside him shook with fear. The humans, they are not doing this with machines. This is coming from their minds. The human broadcast, without any power source, without any transmitter, began playing again through their ship. The same message that terrified the Karen. We rise again. And then something even stranger happened. Across the galaxy, in dark tunnels, in bright stations, in empty planets, in crowded cities, every alien who heard the broadcast felt a short flash of light inside their vision. Not real light, but something like a memory bursting awake. They saw images of humans standing together. They saw humans helping each other in storms. They saw humans fighting for survival. They saw humans crying, laughing, dreaming, rising. The broadcast was no longer a message. It had become a memory being shared with the entire universe. The Karen fleet reached Mars' orbit, ready to strike. Their leader raised his arm and shouted, "Fire!" But nothing happened. His soldiers stared at their weapons in confusion. Their weapons did not obey. Their systems refused the command. Something deep inside the fleet was resisting. Something born from the human emotions trapped inside their minds. The leader screamed in rage. "Why are you stopping?" A soldier whispered, trembling. "Because I do not want to kill them. I do not know why. But I do not want to kill them." Fear filled the Karen leader's eyes. He realized the worst possible truth. Humans had done what no weapon could do. Humans had entered the minds of their enemies. Without intention, without plan, without even knowing. Simply by speaking. Simply by feeling. Voron looked at Earth again. He whispered, "They do not know their own power." He felt something heavy in his chest. Respect. Fear. Hope. All mixed together like a storm. The council back in the core galaxy finally understood the same truth. A message arrived from one of their best scholars. It said, "The human broadcast is not dangerous because of war. It is dangerous because it awakens emotion. And emotion spreads faster than light." On Earth, Lena watched the stars shining with a strange glow. The air felt different, almost alive. She whispered, "Who are you?" Her voice was small, but the wind carried it upward. And somewhere above, Vorin whispered back, "You are the species the universe did not expect. You are the species the universe feared. You are the species the universe cannot control." The Karen fleet froze, trapped between fear and awakening. The council fell into silence, unable to decide what to do. Vorin felt his beliefs breaking apart. And Lena stood alone, unaware she had become the first human the galaxy truly listened to. The universe was no longer the same. Because humanity had spoken. And the stars had heard them. And now every civilization was forced to choose. Fear humanity. Follow humanity. Or be changed by humanity. And Earth, small and quiet, still did not know that its voice had already started a revolution across the galaxy.